Okay, so my current favorite foundation right now is the Fenty Beauty. I wear mine in the shade 170. So I was actually kind of skeptical when I first got this because I was like, I'm pretty dry in the winter time. I don't know how that's going to work. But honestly, it is worth the hype. And like, the thing is like, anytime I use a new foundation, I'm always afraid that it's gonna like break me out. And this one has done so well, so I've been so very happy with it. I also like to like pull it onto my eyelids because I like to use that as like a quote-unquote primer. Beautiful. For concealer, I'm gonna use Shape Tape in Fair Neutral. This one's a little lighter. I'm pretty much out of my other ones. So I'm just going to use this just to kind of highlight underneath my eyes. And then I'm going to go back in with a little bit of like bronzer later. And in the 90s there was not a lot of like highlighting and contouring. So I'm really just doing this to brighten up just the center of my face and cover any little blemishes. This one's so white. And that's saying a lot because I'm like, when I'm not wearing a fake tan, the whitest person ever, and even I'm like, I feel like fake tan was just starting to become a thing in the 90s. Like, the late 90s. Don't quote me on that. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my Kat Von D translucent powder and just set everything. And I use my sponge just to kind of like do my under eye, and then I use a big fluffy brush to do the rest of my face because I feel like the dampness of the Beauty Blender just kind of like smooths out those fine lines, and I can really pack that color, or I'm sorry, that powder underneath my eyes to really set it, because that's what I don't want to move all day long is my under eye. This stuff is no joke. Also, I'm really sorry about the like little jingles on the end of this thing. It sounds like a cat toy, but they're just like little charms. I don't know. I've had it forever and like it's my favorite brush, so I don't hear the jingle anymore, but everybody else does. Again, I put it on my eyelids just to kind of set that foundation that I put into place. Also use this a little bit on my neck because now that I'm in my like late 20s, I'm getting like these lines and I don't like for anything to like settle into them. Brows weren't like a super big thing back then. Everyone just kind of wore like their natural brows, but I don't really have any, so I'm gonna add brows. This is 90 inspired, it's not exact. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dipbrow in the shade Ebony, in their angled brush. Now that I'm seeing my brows up close, they really could have used a wax. Whoops! Okay. One is like, for the love of Pete. You know, like the phrase, they're not twins, they're sisters or whatever. I want them to be twins. I guess they never will be. I have like two different eyebrows. I swear I have one eyebrow for my mom and one for my dad. I don't know if that's fact, but it feels like it. Okay, I'm gonna bronze up my face just a tiny bit. I did put the Hoola body bronzer on from Benefit, so I'm just gonna take a little bit of this center shade from my Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, and I'm not necessarily like contouring I'm just kind of sweeping it all over to blend everything and make it match. And this is where the under eye gets a little bit of a love. And that was it. There was like no contouring. If you look at everybody's faces, they look like the full moon emoji, whatever. I'm gonna go in with the color Paaaarty from Tarte. It's a really pretty pink, and I'm just gonna put this a little bit here just to give myself a little bit of definition. So funny, like once you start like contouring and highlighting, you like don't want to ever not, so it feels really strange to not do that. I'm gonna take my Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. It's a little messy, so please disregard that. But I want to go for a really just like pretty kind of, not necessarily smoky eye, but like I feel like there wasn't a whole lot of things going on back then. We didn't do wings, we didn't really do much of anything. So I'm gonna take this color. I'm gonna list all the colors down below because like I don't have the names, I have them on a sheet. And I'm just gonna kind of focus it outside and up into my crease. And then I'm just gonna take the excess and just kind of brush it into there. I feel like everything was very like monochromatic makeup wise then, like there wasn't really any kind of like serious detail. I'm gonna take that same color and run it on my lower lash line. I'm also gonna take just a little tiny bit of, I think this color down here, and I'm gonna just put it a little more into my crease. And I'm just using a fluffy brush because I want to be able to really pack that color in but keep it soft. I'm going to use just a little bit of that on the lower lash line on the outer corner. Kind of drag it in a little bit. Yeah, I think that's it. Just kind of like go back and make sure everything's nice and soft and blend it out. You don't want any harsh lines on the outside corners. For mascara, I am using Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. This one's my favorite. I also have eyelash extensions, so if you want to do any kind of like wispy or whatever, go ahead and do that. And curl, I am just going to give myself a little coat. And I'm going to do just a tiny bit on the bottom lashes. Now I feel like the true defining thing of the 90s were your lips. They were either brown or glittered. So I figured that Urbandecay's 1993 would be the perfect color to sum up everything. So I have both the lip liner and the lipstick. So let's go ahead and do it. Don't you feel like this like almost, no, never mind. I was gonna say almost matches my lip color, and then I looked in the camera and thought, definitely not. Look how pretty this is. I'm obsessed. Yes. I mean, honestly, could there be a more perfect shade for what you would think of the 90s as a lipstick? Let me take out my cat ears. And this is my very like 90s inspired makeup. Very easy to do. very cute. You could definitely like grunge it up and like smoke it out more and really have fun with it, but I really liked the like kind of like supermodel-esque 90s makeup back in the day, like where it was just very like pretty but simple, everyday.